Thank you so much for joining us today and joining this webinar on employee benefits litigation, kind of recent cases and what we can learn from them. Periodically, we like to take a look at the case law, disputes between plaintiffs and defendants, and try to figure out, related to benefits, to try to figure out what kinds of things people been sued for, how have courts resolved those issues, and what can we as benefit plan fiduciaries, administrators, etc., what can we learn from the cases? And so we're going to kind of walk through these one by one. We have a nice mixture, I think, between retirement plan and health and welfare plan cases. And so hopefully we can identify some best practices together as we kind of talk about these. I'd like to start you with a baseline slide to kind of discuss who is an ERISA fiduciary. And many of you who've been doing this a long time might be rolling your eyes at this point, as I probably would be doing if we're starting with the very fundamental definition of an ERISA fiduciary. But bear with me for a second, because this will have meaning and relevance as we kind of walk through these cases. And so you might remember that an ERISA fiduciary is anybody who is named as a fiduciary in a benefit plan. So if you look, for example, at your 401k plan document, it probably identifies the employer as the named fiduciary, unless somebody like me has built in a different name, like your plan committee. And so if you're named as a fiduciary or named as the named fiduciary in the plan itself, you're a fiduciary. The second category of a fiduciary, right out of the statute itself, is anyone who exercises any discretionary authority or discretionary control respecting plan management. Think about who in your organization has the authority, the discretionary authority to hire and fire your vendors. If you're talking about your medical plan, who has the authority to hire and fire your network, your third-party administrator, your PBM. If you exercise discretion regarding the management of a plan, you're a fiduciary. The third category is if you exercise any authority or control regarding plan assets, you're a fiduciary. So if you're a 401k plan trustee or custodian and you have control over plan assets, you're a fiduciary. Fourth one, if you render investment advice for a fee, this is most likely applicable on the retirement side. So a lot of you use an investment consultant who might help you pick the funds for your 401k plan and help monitor those funds. And that person gets paid a fee for doing that. They are a fiduciary because they render investment advice for a fee. And then lastly, a person is a fiduciary if they exercise any discretionary authority or discretionary responsibility in the administration of a plan. Think about if you have a medical plan, and let's pretend that under your plan document, your third-party administrator decides claims for you initially. But if a person wants to appeal, and they can submit an appeal to a committee at your organization or to somebody within your organization who will then decide appeals, because you have discretionary authority regarding the administration of the plan, you would be a fiduciary, because commenting, providing decision-making authority, having decision-making authority, reaching a final decision regarding whether to pay a claim, for example, or grant or deny an appeal, that would be an example of someone who exercises discretionary authority regarding the administration of a plan. And so with those in mind, and I'll come back to that periodically. In fact, at one point in this presentation, we'll come back to this slide again for reasons that will make sense to you. But for now, just keep that in mind as we kind of cruise along through our discussion.